In a significant development in the ongoing Israel-Hamas conflict, a ceasefire agreement took effect on Sunday, marking the first pause in hostilities in over a year. The announcement has sparked a mix of celebration and skepticism among both Israelis and Palestinians as they grapple with the ramifications of this fragile truce. The ceasefire, which aims to address long-standing grievances and humanitarian needs, introduces a complex web of negotiations and conditions that will shape the future of the region. The agreement is structured in two phases, with the initial 6-week period set to facilitate the release of 33 hostages held by Hamas and over 1,000 Palestinian prisoners in Israeli custody. This exchange is seen as a crucial step towards rebuilding trust, with the first 3 hostages expected to be released as the ceasefire took effect. "We are hopeful but cautious," noted a representative from a humanitarian organization in Gaza. "The pain of loss is still fresh and trust is a long road." The ceasefire also includes provisions for humanitarian aid, allowing 600 trucks to enter Gaza daily. However, the logistics of aid distribution remain unclear, raising concerns among local leaders about the potential for mismanagement or delays. Hundreds of thousands of Palestinians displaced from their homes face the daunting task of returning to areas that may have been devastated by conflict, particularly in regions like Jabalia. Reactions on both sides reflect a blend of hope and wariness. In Gaza, celebrations erupted as residents took to the streets honking horns and playing music. Yet the backdrop of destruction, the loss of over 46,000 lives, casts a shadow over the festivities. In Israel, families of hostages expressed relief at the prospect of their loved ones' return, with one father posting a heartfelt message on social media expressing gratitude for the ceasefire. Despite the initial calm, there are signs of underlying tension. Hardline members of Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's government have voiced their dissent, with some factions threatening to destabilize the coalition over the deal. Itamar Ben-Gvir, the far-right national security minister, announced his party's resignation from the coalition, indicating potential political fallout as the government navigates the complexities of this agreement. The momentum for negotiations was bolstered by a separate ceasefire reached between Israel and Hezbollah, which had launched attacks during the broader conflict. The shifting political landscape, particularly with the impending U.S. administration transition, added pressure for both sides to reach an agreement. Notably, former President Donald Trump issued a stark warning about the consequences of failing to secure the release of hostages before his inauguration, prompting a rare moment of collaboration between him and President Biden. As the first phase of the ceasefire unfolds, the focus will shift to the commencement of discussions for the second phase, which will address further exchanges and conditions. Both sides remain acutely aware that the journey towards lasting peace is fraught with challenges, and the current truce, while a positive step forward, is precarious. The situation in the region underscores a broader narrative of resilience amid despair. The coming weeks will be critical in determining whether this ceasefire can evolve into a sustainable peace agreement or if it will succumb to the weight of entrenched animosities and political maneuvering. As stakeholders on both sides engage with this moment of potential transformation, the world watches closely, hopeful yet cautious about the path ahead. As tensions mount around social media governance and international relations, recent developments have captured the public's attention, highlighting the intricate web of technology, politics, and global connectivity. From the abrupt shutdown of TikTok in the United States to the clarification surrounding the damage to undersea cables, the landscape of digital communication and its implications are shifting dramatically. In a significant turn of events, TikTok has officially ceased operations in the U.S. following the enactment of a nationwide ban. This decision, which has been in the making for months amid rising concerns over data security and user privacy, marks a critical juncture for the popular social media platform. The ban has sparked widespread discussions on the implications for digital content creation and the future of social media in America. Observers note that the shutdown not only affects millions of users, but also sets a precedent for how governments might regulate technology companies perceived as threats to national security. As one user lamented, "It's frustrating to see a platform that brought so much creativity and connection get shut down without warning." Simultaneously, officials have confirmed that recent damage to undersea cables crucial for global internet connectivity was due to accidents rather than acts of sabotage, specifically ruling out Russian involvement. This revelation comes as relief to many, alleviating fears of escalating geopolitical tensions impacting vital infrastructure. The undersea cables are lifelines for data transmission across continents, and any disruption poses a risk to both economic stability and communication. Experts suggest that while the accidents were unfortunate, they underscore the need for increased investment in infrastructure resilience and maintenance protocols to prevent future incidents. On the political front, former President Donald Trump appears poised to leverage his influence as he eyes a potential second term. His strategies for reshaping American policy and disrupting traditional norms are already becoming a focal point of discussions among political analysts. With a solid base of support, Trump's approach could significantly alter the political landscape, particularly in areas related to technology and digital governance. Analysts warn that his return could lead to heightened polarization both online and offline, affecting how technology companies operate within the regulatory frameworks. As these events unfold, the intersection of technology politics and public sentiment will only grow more complex. The implications of TikTok's shutdown. The undersea cable incident and a potential Trump presidency are far-reaching, suggesting a future where digital platforms are closely scrutinized and regulated. Stakeholders across various sectors will need to navigate these changes carefully, balancing innovation with responsibility in an increasingly interconnected world. As we look ahead, the ongoing dialogue surrounding digital rights, security, and governance will be pivotal in shaping the future of technology and communication. The world of immigration policy is poised for a seismic shift as the incoming administration under President-elect Donald Trump prepares to launch a significant operation targeting undocumented immigrants. Dubbed Operation Safeguard, this initiative is set to commence in Chicago just days after Trump's inauguration, marking what could be the largest deportation program in U.S. history. While the full details of the operation remain somewhat nebulous, the intent is clear: to send a strong message regarding immigration enforcement, particularly in so-called sanctuary cities that resist federal immigration directives. According to sources familiar with the planning, the raids are scheduled to begin on Tuesday, with operations expected to continue through the following Monday. Tom Homan, Trump's appointed border czar, has publicly acknowledged the heightened risks for law enforcement officers due to media coverage of the impending raid, stating, "Chicago's not off the table, but no decision has been made yet." This statement underscores the precarious balance between operational secrecy and public awareness in the enforcement strategy. The operation, which is expected to deploy approximately 150 immigration and customs enforcement ICE agents to the city, is emblematic of Trump's broader agenda to escalate immigration enforcement, particularly targeting individuals who are in the country illegally. Homan has indicated that these early actions will create a sense of shock and awe, a strategy reminiscent of Trump's past rhetoric surrounding immigration enforcement during his previous term in office. The operation aims to assert federal authority over local jurisdictions that do not fully comply with immigration enforcement. Chicago's police department has responded to the planned raids by clarifying its stance. While they will not obstruct federal operations, they also do not document the immigration status of individuals adhering to city policies that prioritize community safety over federal immigration enforcement. Dawn Terry, a spokesperson for the Chicago police, emphasized, "We will not share information with federal immigration authorities," reflecting the city's commitment to protecting its immigrant population. Trump's approach to immigration has long been a polarizing topic, with proposals that could potentially affect millions of undocumented immigrants. The incoming administration has signaled that it will not shy away from deporting individuals with U.S.-born children, a move that could ignite further controversy. In past years, Trump's attempts at large-scale deportation have often resulted in limited success. For instance, a previously announced operation in 2019 aimed at detaining over 2,000 individuals yielded only 35 arrests. The implications of Operation Safeguard extend beyond immediate enforcement actions. The operation signals a stark departure from the previous administration's policies and raises questions about the logistical and financial feasibility of large-scale deportation efforts. As Trump's team prepares to tackle immigration reform, it remains to be seen how local and state officials will respond to federal initiatives, and what impact this will have on immigrant communities. As the nation braces for the start of this operation, the conversation surrounding immigration reform and enforcement is sure to intensify. The coming weeks will reveal not only the effectiveness of such initiatives, but also how they shape public sentiment and policy in a deeply divided country. With Trump at the helm once again, observers anticipate further developments in immigration legislation and enforcement strategies that could redefine the landscape of U.S. immigration policy for years to come. In a landscape where international trade tensions and regulatory shifts dominate headlines, the European automotive industry finds itself at a pivotal crossroads. Oleg Kalinius, chairman of Mercedes-Benz, recently articulated a perspective that could reshape the dynamics of EU-China trade relations. Speaking at the Brussels Motor Show, Kalinius urged the European Union to embrace the establishment of more Chinese car factories within its borders, framing this initiative as a mutually beneficial strategy to alleviate escalating tariffs on Chinese electric vehicles (EVs). Kalinius emphasized the historical context of trade relationships, recalling how Chinese policymakers encouraged foreign carmakers to invest domestically in the 1980s as a prerequisite for market access. Nobody disagrees about the fact that the level playing field is a legitimate discussion. The question is, what tool do you use? He remarked in an interview with the Financial Times. His suggestion implies that the EU's current protectionist measures, which include tariffs as high as 45% on Chinese EV imports, could backfire, spurring retaliatory actions from Beijing and potentially harming European manufacturers reliant on the Chinese market. The backdrop to Kalinius's comments involves recent tensions between Brussels and Beijing, highlighted by the EU's imposition of hefty tariffs on Chinese EVs, which were introduced following a surge in sales that raised concerns over unfair subsidies. In response, China enacted its own tariffs on European products, further complicating the trade landscape. German carmakers have been particularly vocal in opposing these protectionist measures, fearing that they could jeopardize their foothold in the lucrative Chinese market, which accounts for roughly 30% of Mercedes-Benz global sales. Kalinius's stance advocates for a recalibration of EU policy, suggesting that a reciprocal approach, where Chinese manufacturers are encouraged to establish production facilities in Europe, could foster a more equitable trading environment. He pointed out that current discussions in Brussels about imposing requirements on Chinese firms to set up factories in Europe and share technological expertise echo the historical precedents set by European manufacturers in China. When we came to China, there was a call upon us by the policymakers: industrialize here if you want to capture the market, he stated, urging for a similar openness and cooperation from European policymakers. This call for collaboration comes at a time when the automotive supply chain is increasingly interdependent, with Chinese firms like BYD and CATL making significant investments in European production capabilities, including a €4.1 billion lithium battery factory in Spain. Kalinius stressed that the global automotive sector has become intricately linked with China not only through vehicle production but also in critical components and raw materials. He warned that tariffs could harm the industry's recovery and competitiveness, urging EU leaders to consider negotiations to lift such restrictions. As the automotive landscape evolves, the future of EU-China relations will likely hinge on the delicate balance between protectionist policies and collaborative opportunities. The outcome will not only impact the automotive industry but could also set a precedent for broader trade relations in an increasingly interconnected global economy. In parallel to these developments in the automotive sector, the technology landscape is undergoing significant upheaval, particularly illustrated by TikTok's recent challenges in the United States. As of January 19, the app has gone dark for its 170 million U.S. users following the enforcement of a law requiring its Chinese parent company ByteDance to divest or face a nationwide ban. This action stems from ongoing national security concerns regarding the potential misuse of user data by the Chinese government. The abrupt shutdown of TikTok has sent shockwaves through the social media landscape, prompting users and influencers to migrate to rival platforms. The app's disappearance from app stores and the inability to access its services mark a critical moment in the ongoing saga of U.S.-China relations, with TikTok's fate now resting on the incoming administration's approach to digital platform regulation. As we observe these unfolding narratives in both the automotive and tech sectors, the interplay between international relations and corporate strategy will undoubtedly shape the future of global commerce. The outcomes in these arenas will not only influence the companies involved, but also the broader economic landscape in which they operate, underscoring the intricate web of dependencies that define modern trade. As artificial intelligence (AI) continues to weave itself into the fabric of everyday life, the implications of its use are becoming increasingly evident. From selecting our outfits to influencing major political decisions, AI's reach is both vast and profound. Recent discussions surrounding AI have sparked debates about its advantages, limitations, and ethical concerns, all of which warrant a closer look. In an exploration of personal identity through fashion, a writer recently detailed her experience of allowing an AI app to choose her outfits for a week. Overwhelmed by the demands of motherhood and the pressures of daily life, she found herself paralyzed by choice, staring at a wardrobe full of clothes but struggling to decide what to wear. The AI-driven app, which allows users to digitize their wardrobes and receive outfit suggestions, offered a solution to her dilemma. By generating outfits based on her existing clothing, the app not only saved her time but also pushed her to experiment with her style. "I found I don't actually feel self-conscious in it," she remarked, reflecting on how AI encouraged her to step outside her comfort zone. However, the experience was not without its critiques. Experts like stylist Michelle Barrett and AI specialist James Bohr cautioned against the inherent limitations of AI in personal styling. They argued that while AI can analyze data and generate outputs based on statistical likelihoods, it lacks the ability to understand individual preferences and unique styles fully. Barrett emphasized the importance of human touch in fashion, suggesting that relying solely on algorithms could lead to a homogenization of style. Bohr echoed this sentiment, warning that such reliance might reduce individuality and innovation. The implications of AI extend far beyond fashion, touching upon pressing societal issues, including its role in politics and public service. Recently, the British Labour Party's push to invest in AI technologies has been met with skepticism. Critics argue that AI is a backward-looking technology that risks reinforcing existing biases, particularly within public services like the NHS. Concerns have been voiced about the potential misuse of health data to train AI models and the ethical ramifications of allowing private firms to profit from NHS data. As Natalie Bennett, a prominent figure in the discussion, noted, AI is a backward-looking technology that reinforces old biases. This critique underscores the need for careful consideration of how AI is integrated into public governance and services. Meanwhile, the political landscape is also being reshaped by AI, as exemplified by its influence on recent events. The ongoing humanitarian crisis in the Middle East has seen unexpected alliances forming, with leaders from various political backgrounds navigating complex negotiations. The recent ceasefire deal between Hamas and Israel reflects a moment of diplomacy amid protracted conflict, with leaders recognizing the need for resolution in times of escalating violence. As we navigate this multifaceted landscape, the future of AI remains a topic of intense scrutiny. Its potential to revolutionize industries and enhance personal experiences is tempered by valid concerns regarding privacy bias and ethical implications. The takeaway from these discussions is clear: while AI offers innovative solutions and conveniences, it also necessitates a careful and critical approach to its integration into society. As we look ahead, the challenge will be to harness the benefits of AI while safeguarding against its pitfalls, ensuring that technology serves humanity rather than defines it. In a bittersweet farewell, Cape Cod Times reporter Eric Williams has announced his departure from the newsroom, marking the end of a notable chapter in local journalism. Williams, known for his insightful reporting and dedication to sharing the stories of the Cape Cod community, expressed gratitude for the experiences and connections he has made during his tenure. "It has been a privilege to tell the stories of this vibrant community," he stated in a heartfelt message published by the Cape Cod Times. His departure is a significant loss for the publication, as he has been a steadfast presence in covering the region's issues and events. As Williams bids adieu, the impact of his work resonates beyond the articles he penned. His commitment to insightful storytelling has helped shine a light on the unique challenges and triumphs of Cape Cod residents, from environmental concerns to local businesses adapting to changing economic landscapes. "Eric has a gift for capturing the essence of our community," noted a colleague. "His work has made a difference in how we understand our place here." The farewell comes at a time when local journalism faces unprecedented challenges, including staffing shortages and the ever-increasing competition from digital media. Williams' departure highlights the pressing need for support in the industry, as many journalists grapple with the evolving landscape. The Cape Cod Times, along with other local news outlets, continues to navigate these changes, striving to maintain their role as vital information sources for the public. Looking ahead, the future of local journalism remains uncertain. With emerging technologies and shifting reader preferences, news organizations must adapt to stay relevant. However, Williams' legacy serves as a reminder of the importance of community-focused journalism. We must continue to foster connections and share the stories that matter, he emphasized in his farewell. As new voices rise to fill the gaps left by seasoned reporters like Williams, the hope is that their commitment to authentic storytelling will endure. In conclusion, as Eric Williams leaves the Cape Cod Times, his contributions will not be forgotten. His departure marks not just a personal milestone, but a pivotal moment for journalism in the region. The path forward will undoubtedly be challenging, but the dedication to uncovering and reporting the truth remains a cornerstone of a healthy democracy. As the Cape Cod community transitions into this new era, it will be crucial to support and uplift the storytellers who seek to document their narratives.